of all, it's hard to get them to dance when you bring it. If they even show up to your party, good luck.
Like this. They are looking at one another. They are looking at each other like, who's gonna move first? Who's dancing first?
So first up is, yeah, if they come to your party, they don't even dance. They don't sweat. Now you're telling them to come and put on a car. It's not going to happen. But again, it's a vision. It was a vision that I had. I had to move forward. If I fail, I fail. You get what I'm saying? But let's do it. I think it's a great thing to do. Let's do it. So that's in a nutshell. That's how our car festival started.
Okay. I wouldn't be doing a good justice if I don't talk about me myself as an example.
Right.
You put me in platform of artists, just to name a few, like Tenny,
right.
Started that open for.
Right.
That actually give me confidence as an artist to know that okay, this is what this feel like. This is what it's all about. This is I have to craft my own musical career, and how I have to like perform, how I'm gonna move on the stage, stuff like that. Give me more idea in general. And this is how it feels. So. And I noticed that you have a Lentini podcast too going on, in which you speak about Afrobeats. Funny enough, there's a series on Netflix that Afrobeats,
the backstory.
Also featured. So I would like you to talk a little bit about that and just to brief people about what your podcast is all about.
What do you want me to have? You want me to talk about the Afrobeat backstory first?
Afrobeat backstory.
Okay, let's talk about that. So randomly again, in pushing all of that, it wasn't anything about it has to be Lentini, it has to be this. My goal has always, like you attested to bring people along, make our people big, make our people great, make the community big. So right before COVID, I got a text message, a DM from someone who I regard or refer to as an OG in the Afrobeat music industry. He texted me and he said, hey Lentini, I got your number from XYZ. I'm doing a documentary about Afrobeat, the backstory on how we got to where we're at today. And they told me that I have to speak to you. I'm in Nigeria now. I'm going to be, I want to see if you're down for this. I'll fly to Los Angeles and come and interview you. So I was shocked by that, right? Ayoshunaya DMing me. Wants to put me in wants to interview me for Afrobeat backstory. How I take enter this story. Like for me, it was huge. And my response to him was, bros, I'm just an errand boy. I'm just an errand boy. I don't know how I'm into this, but I'm just trying to do my best to push the culture. It was like, well, a lot of people have said a lot of good things about you and how much you have done to push Afrobeat in the diaspora. It will be good to hear your story. I said, okay. So he flew to LA, came over to my house. He was like, we can do an interview at your house and that stuff. He saw the fella picture that I have and all that. So it was like, who are you? Just like how we're talking now. Like, tell me your story. I said, I know you. I know you very well. Now you don't know me. You get what I'm saying? So that's how we got into that. How I grew up in Ikeja, Lagos. How I was always at the shrine. How much I was close to Fela Kuti, Femi Kuti, Shehu Kuti at that time. The people I know from that time that influenced what I'm doing right now, and then getting to LA and then doing the exact same thing. Keep pushing that to look at where we are today. So when Burna Boy did the Hollywood Bowl, for me, going there during sound check and everything like that, I was moved to tears. Because this is a guy that I brought to the Savoy. I was there 2 years before that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I was like, how does Burna Boy just move to Savoy Entertainment?
Right.
And we go on Friday.
On Friday.
It was filled up too of Savoy. It was filled up. But at the same time, how does it move within the span of 2 years? How does it move from Savoy to like
Hollywood Bowl? 18 to 20,000 capacity.
I have to look up and be like, God, how? Burna Boy.
Yeah. Even for me, it was unbelievable because even at the Hollywood Bowl when we were there setting up and all of that stuff, I kept like, do you know we started at the Savoy? We started at the Savoy in Inglewood. We're here at the prestigious Hollywood Bowl. It was crazy. You get what I'm saying? For me, it was amazing to see. And with that interview with of the Afrobeat, the backstory.
Yeah.
Before that, a lot of people knew me. A lot of people saw me. Now Lentini Mudah. That's the guy that does the shows. That's the guy that does the concert. DJ Lentini now. That's the guy that does Afrobeat in LA. So a lot of people saw me as just that's the guy that does all of this stuff in LA. Like how you said, like you do a lot of things. Like this is the guy that does Accra Fest. But I think what that documentary did for me and for a lot of people was put some perspective to what I've been able to achieve or do in California or in Los Angeles. Like, oh, so all this time before Afrobeat became big, these were the people that were putting in a lot of work to push Afrobeat to where it's at today. So a lot of people that saw that documentary would pause it, take a picture and say, Baba, thank you for all you've done. Yes. Baba, thank you for your work.
This is hospitality.
I know, right?
This is hospitality.
So, so a lot of people who are either just listening to Afrobeat or just getting into Afrobeat, not knowing how Afrobeat got to where it is today. That documentary on Netflix put everything into perspective for everybody to say, these are the people that put in the work to get us from point A to point B. I mean, we're not fully there, we're major
towards something else.
But that was what that documentary did for someone like me and for a lot of people who are, Afrobeat heads or Afrobeat lovers. That's what that thing.
That's the bottom there to it.
Right. So again, I'm an Afrobeat head. I'm deep in the industry. I know a lot about the artists, the managers, the industry. I know a lot about that. Right? I have a lot of knowledge because I deal in it. That's what I do on the daily. You get what I'm saying? So I figured I have this platform. If I put together, the Lentini podcast and share some more insights, good or bad, experiences via the podcast where people will go listen to and say, oh, okay, this is why Kiss Daniel messed up at this show. This is why this person did this and that. Oh, I never knew that, Ghana had XYZ artists. I never knew those stories that people don't see or hear on a daily basis, right? I saw this on Instagram or on Facebook. What led to this? So the Lentini podcast is where you can come and listen to gist.
Okay.
Right?
Now you know. If you want to listen to gist, you want to know the backstory.
Right.
Different things going on IG, Twitter, other social media platforms.
Right.
If why did you guys attacking this guy? Like
right.
This is where you can listen.
So you go to the Lentini podcast. You best believe Lentini is going to have the insight on that. The podcast, like I'll say, the podcast is where you can come hear the gist of the whole thing. Come hear the backstory of stuff. Come and hear about Amapiano history. Come and hear about the music industry in South Africa, music industry in Tanzania. Artists from different parts of Africa. What's going on? What's not going on? Why is Maforisa and Davido fighting? What's going on between Burna Boy and those kind of things, right? So it's information, it's knowledge, and it's not only about music. It's pop culture. We'll talk about movies. We'll talk about politics. We'll talk about everything. But most times it's as it relates to Africa, as it relates to African people. Because I believe that my job, God sent me to this country or to this world to come and push the culture. The African culture, the Afrobeat culture. That I believe that's my job. That's why sometimes I call myself the culture custodian. Like that's why I'm here, right? And that's why you see that I bring a lot of people with me. You get what I'm saying?
Let's start from there. Bring a lot of people with you and being the custodian of pushing Afrobeat culture.
Right.
So like I said before, I know a couple of DJs that they have their own shows going on.
Right.
DJ 619, like DJ Kev and so on, like your brother. So what do you see in regards to Afrobeat moving forward?
Right.
And in regards to Afrobeat artists, local artists that we have in LA now, how do you feel like we're moving forward?
Right. So everything there's a season for everything, right? There's a time for everything.
Definitely.
There were times Sawskid was here doing his thing, right? Miku is here doing his thing. You know, the Brown family was here when they were singing in LA and all that. So I don't even think you were in LA at that time, right? So the time or the season for Afrobeat artists in the diaspora, because there was a time where when you were here and you're an artist, we would always tell you, my brother, you go Lagos, so this Afrobeat when they sing for here, people don't understand that. Right? People don't get it.
Go Lagos, come back.
You know, Tiwa Savage was here. She, started here for the most part. She used to live in LA. Packed up her bags, went to Lagos with T-bills, dropped Kelly Kelly Love. Boom, that's Tiwa Savage got made. You get what I'm saying? There's Celestina here. There's a lot of artists here at that time when they started. Even Sonskid went to Nigeria.
Yeah.
Iba, Sango, that song blew up.
Then Carolina with the video.
Right, so it made sense at that time to, bro, if this is what you want to do, this is not the place. Go back to Nigeria and go and push your career there. It would pop over there. But those days are gone. Now Afrobeat has crossed the ocean, right? It has crossed into the diaspora, whereby you don't have to go to Nigeria to go pursue your music career. It's here now. It's here where you're at. All you need to do is put in the work and then grow from there. Because now it's not only Africans that listen to Afrobeat. It's the biggest genre in the world now, right? So for artists in the diaspora, in Los Angeles, in California, in New York, in Chicago, in the diaspora, now is when you actually need to put in more work, right, to be able to get your music out there. Because you don't need people in Nigeria anymore, right? Yeah. You just need
you to put in the energy.
Those that are here, right, and those that are non-African who love Afrobeat, because music is universal. If they can tap into it, they will tap into it. You know, I love being a dad. I cherish being a dad. I love my kids. You know, and you can see how, because every other thing that I'm doing is a passion. It doesn't feel like work, right? It doesn't feel like work. People always ask me, how do you do all of this stuff? How do you do all of this stuff? What exactly are you referring to? Because they see me as a dad. You see me with my kids almost every time. Then before you know it, I'm at the club. Before you know it, I'm promoting a concert.
Full-time daddy.
Yeah, full-time, and I have a 9 to 5 work as a facility, as a DJ, as a project manager, right? I still have that. So people see all these variations, and then there's a podcast, and then there's Ankara Fest, and then there's this, like, a lot of people always like, how do you, like, it's a lot, but I don't see it as work because it's a passion. I have passion for all of this stuff. So regardless of how I go to bed at 2 a.m. in the morning or 3 a.m. in the morning, or maybe I go to bed at 6 a.m. in the morning, that's when I finally can doze off and I have to leave the house at 7 in the morning to go to work. Or I have to leave the show, come home, take a shower, change, and then go to the office. Like, and when I'm in the office, I'm alive because I love what I do. And some of the people at my office will be like, well, you know, just start singing. Like, my brother, don't worry about that one. This one we did, let's focus on this one. So I think, you know, talking about football, I love this World Cup. I watch every single game. If I miss the game, I watch the highlights. I love.
What was your take in this World Cup?
To be honest, as an African, I would say Morocco. Morocco was, I mean, they set the record. I think that's it for me. As an African, it's the best World Cup ever. For an African team to get to semi-finals, since the inception of the World Cup, it's crazy. So it has to be the best World Cup for me. 1, 2, being held in the Middle East. Yeah. That they felt, I mean, up until the first kick of the World Cup, a lot of people thought it was impossible to do. Yeah. But Qatar shocked everybody. Yeah. Regardless of how they got the World Cup, they shocked everybody for it to be the best World Cup thus far. Yeah. You know, so I enjoyed every bit of it. I enjoyed it. What was your team at this World Cup? What was your team?
Let me say.
Don't tell me Saudi Arabia.
No, actually, my team is Portugal.
Portugal, yeah.
But I love Cristiano Ronaldo so much.
Right.
So I was praying that they should win this World Cup, but it never happened. But it's part of football. We keep moving. But definitely, as African, I support Morocco. At the time, I was like, you know what? Since Portugal is out, Morocco all the way.
I know, right?
Thank you. Thank you so much. I love this man.
My guy.
I appreciate you, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for having me.
I'll see you next time. Shout out.